Kijk aan luistertoets 2020 Engels VMBO kaderberoepsgerichte leerweg Audiodeel. In het nu volgende deel ga je luisteren naar een aantal nieuwsberichten. Er is geen inleiding. Lees nu de opgave.
Mars Inc. has announced a new policy which will affect more than 50 brands of its candies. Products such as M&M's, Skittles, Wrigley's Gum, Snickers and Twix will not be the same anymore after the change. In a press release, the company states that some of its candies are already produced without artificial colours, but that the goal now is to expand those standards to make sure that artificial colours are removed from all chocolate, gum, confection, food and drink products. We're in the business of satisfying and delighting the people who love our products, the company's CEO Grant F. Reed says in the statement. The company plans to complete the changes within the next 5 years. Reed calls the move a massive undertaking and one that will take time and hard work to accomplish.
1.
Last week, the Hypnos company launched the latest craze for those who have no trouble sleeping on the go. The weird invention could dramatically change tube and bus journeys for Londoners, allowing tired city employees and night shift workers to take a nap while they cross the city. Dubbed the world's best sleep hoodie by its creators, the concept has a secret pillow concealed in a hood that can be manually inflated by the wearer. The hoodie itself is made of a mid-weight, ultra-soft cotton blend, heavy enough to keep you warm on journeys, and the hood is large enough to cover your head and sleeping surface, whether that's a bus window or the back of a taxi. When you finish sleeping, you can then deflate and detach the hood, returning the hoodie to what looks like a normal piece of clothing.
2.
Each year, hundreds of tube passengers are involved in incidents including falling from the platform, falling between the train and the platform, or being caught by the doors. But the figure has increased massively since 2003, according to new data obtained by website London Loves Business. It shows that in 2014, the most recent year for which full figures were available, 298 incidents were recorded, up from just 56 in 2003. This amounts to a 432% rise in 11 years. Transport for London says its rail network is one of the safest in Europe.
3.
200,000 people have applied to be in with a chance of being sent to Mars. From the list, 1,058 applicants have been selected for testing. A final list of around 24 people will be put forward to be sent to live on Mars by 2025. One of the British people prepared to withdraw from life on Earth is Danielle Potter. She told ITV News, "The opportunity has come and I want to be part of the most historic thing to ever happen in our galaxy." Another, Anna Earnshaw, added, "I want to be one of the people who helps to build the colony and make it a success." The selection process to find the potential Mars travellers is set to be shown on TV. The Mars One mission is asking people to donate money so that humans can be sent to Mars in the next decade.
4.
Mrs. Chisholm, a school principal in Darlington, has turned on parents. She wrote them a letter which ended up on Facebook and immediately went viral. "Dear parents," Mrs. Chisholm wrote, "I have noticed that more and more parents are still wearing pajamas while escorting their children to school. Please take your time to dress appropriately in day wear. I am sure you will agree that it's important for us all to set our children a good example about what is acceptable in life." Mrs. Chisholm has received hundreds of reactions from Nairobi to New York and even Australia. While most fellow teachers support Mrs. Chisholm's action, a number of parents have seen the letter as a personal attack. They claim Mrs. Chisholm's high heels and short skirts are more offensive than their PJs.
5.
The BBC TV show Hugh's War on Waste explored why the UK wastes a third of all its food. Produce like fruit and vegetables is often destroyed before it gets to the shops because of the way it looks. For instance, wobbly carrots or weirdly shaped potatoes. Supermarkets are afraid customers won't buy what they call ugly products. The charity Feedback has teams of volunteers visiting farms to collect and redistribute produce that would otherwise be wasted. Just last month, they collected 20 tons of parsnips from a farm in Norfolk and passed them on to food poverty charity Fair Share, which created 250,000 portions for vulnerable and hungry people. The idea is not new. Since 1979, charities in America rescued food worth millions of dollars for those in need.
6.
In het nu volgende deel ga je luisteren naar een interview met Ricky Catwell. Ricky woont in Londen. Hij vertelt over zijn werk als gem dealer. Dat betekent dat hij gemstones, oftewel edelstenen en semi-edelstenen, verkoopt. Hij praat ook over het leven in de wijk Hackney en zijn favoriete voetbalclub Arsenal. Er komt eerst een inleiding. Hierbij is geen opgave.
My name is Ricky Catwell. I live in London, East London, Hackney. I am a gem dealer. So I have a website and I buy rough gemstones, mainly from India, although I have bought from China and Mexico as well. Some precious, but mainly semi-precious. So we're talking like amethysts, lapis lazuli, quartz crystal, this sort of thing.
Tot zover de inleiding. Lees nu de opgave.
How did you come to be a gem dealer?
I first got started, I was on a gap year, I guess. I was travelling. And I just stumbled into a gemstone shop in Delhi. You know, I was told that it would be very, very, very worthwhile me stepping into this establishment because the array of gemstones and silver and fabrics are far better than any other shop on this road. So of course I had to go in. And the story started there. So the guys I've been working with for the last 25 years are gem cutters, gem dealers, and they're mainly in Jaipur in India. To get the best prices, it's best to go to the source where possible.
7.
Can you tell me something about your time in India?
What I noticed about this shop, a gemstone shop in Delhi, was that they had some stuff which was similar to items that I'd seen before and liked before. You know, I spent more money than I wanted to in that particular shop. But the guy assured me that if I took these items, I would sell them and make a profit. And so I took them from the shop in Delhi back to my hotel room, showed all my friends what I'd bought. They thought I was crazy. We went south to Goa, Juna Market in Goa, and the jewels that I'd bought, I sold them all in that day at a good profit. So I was hooked at that point.
8.
What can you tell me about the city of Jaipur in India?
Jaipur is regarded as a gemstone centre, one of the world's most important places for gemstones. So it means that when I go there, I don't have to go to mines to find rough. You know, for hundreds of years, Jaipur has been one of those places whereby people order rough gemstones from all over the world and they end up in Jaipur. So instead of me having to go to South Africa to look for particular amethysts or to Brazil to look for aquamarine, I can just go to Jaipur and I'll find all of these rough gemstones there waiting for me to select from. So, yes, I could travel all over the world looking for mines and buying one particular type of gemstone. But Jaipur cuts a lot of the hassle out for me.
9.
What did you do before you became a gem dealer?
I had a couple of market stalls in London whereby I was selling just some Indian bits and bobs, fabrics, carvings, boxes, the type of thing you see at the craft markets. But I was buying those items from a wholesaler in England and then just selling them at the market just to make some money. So I was aware of the fact that India had lots of lovely things and other people that had stalls near me at the markets that I was selling at. Some of those people had jewellery. But of course, I didn't know the names of the jewellery or what gemstone was or what gemstone wasn't.
10.
I understand you worked at different markets in England and also abroad. Could you tell me something about that?
I had a friend who had a market stall at Camden Market, and I shared his market stalls and put my jewellery on those stalls for the winter. And then we went to Holland. There was a big festival, Queen's Day. It was Queen's Day. I think we got there 24 hours early. We had to spend the night protecting our pitch on the street. There was 4 of us, and we laid ourselves out in a really prominent area, and we had to fight tooth and nail to hold on to that space for 24 hours. And we set our stall up, and we did really well. And from there, we went down to Dordrecht, and then we visited all the markets around Holland for the rest of the season.
11.
And what is your business like nowadays?
Over the past 24 years, I've had stalls at various markets. I've turned the business into a wholesale business, whereby the quantity that I was buying increased tenfold. And I was selling all over England to shops, market stalls. I was doing big trade shows. I've got myself a shop also. So I had a retail outlet. But this was in the 90s when there was a lot of cash floating about. Things have changed an awful lot now. So I spend... now I concentrate purely on my website, which suits me. It means I can get to more people who are really into what I'm doing without having to travel to them.
12.
Do you think jewellery is important to people?
Here's the thing with gemstones and jewellery. It's been around longer than clothing. Adornment. You see some of these history programs and you see them doing these great digs and finding ancient bones, and they're always really excited when they find jewellery with the ancient bones or some sort of beads. And the further back you go, all you really find are just the shells from a necklace or, the tooth from a bear or claw from a bear or a shark, on some sort of thong. There's no clothing at all. Before clothing, there was there was jewellery. So do fashions change? To a certain extent, but jewellery's eternal.
13.
Can you tell me a little bit about the borough of Hackney, the area in which you live?
When I was growing up, Hackney was a bankrupt borough, which I always found very strange as a teenager. Couldn't quite understand how one of London's biggest boroughs could actually run out of money and declare themselves bankrupt. It was really run down. But now, Hackney is probably one of London's most successful boroughs in terms of revenue. It's the kind of place that all of the it's one of the places that all of the country's graduates seem to want to. They gravitate towards Hackney. They want to live there, hang out there. It's got a good nightlife.
14.
Why did people choose to live in Hackney?
I like living there because I grew up there. So for me, mate, it's where you grow up. It's home. I mean, it's quite rough. I mean, this is real inner city life. So for the first people that were coming from the home counties and deciding, I want to live here, I guess they were only thinking they want to live there because it was cheap back then. I mean, the houses are big. So from a point of view of making an investment and starting a family back then in the 90s, it made sense. Transport links aren't brilliant from Hackney, never have been brilliant from Hackney, which is why I think it got left alone for so long. But they've made efforts recently to help transport links in Hackney.
15.
You said your favourite football club is Arsenal. Do you go to all their matches?
Well, my son and I go to Arsenal every now and again when we can get a ticket. Some friends of mine have got multiple tickets, so if they're not going, then my son and I will go. He's 12 years old. Next season, those tickets, which we normally use, have been offered to me for the season. So I'm contemplating paying what would be the highest price for 2 tickets in the Premier League. I'm going to have to pay for them in June if I decide to do this. Arsenal are the most expensive club in the Premier League, which makes them probably the most expensive club in the world to go and watch. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
16.
As an Arsenal fan, what do you think of their stadium? They moved, didn't they?
Yes, it's not Highbury anymore. We moved from Highbury to the Emirates, and that's when the prices went up. It's become very middle class. It used to, Highbury was real football. I don't know what to call this, to be honest with you, when it comes to the supporters. Someone told me to keep it down once, i.e. the volume. Yeah, he was sitting 2 rows back. He told me to keep it down. I'm at a football match. Keep it down? What do you mean keep it down? It's like, oh, come on, guys. This is ridiculous. But I love Arsenal. So even if the supporters have changed over the last 25, 30 years, I'm still Arsenal through and through, and so is my son.
17.
Einde van het audiodeel.